If anyone has followed me from the beginning, they'll know I love a good 3D collect-a-thon. Or if they watch my ukulele video, they'll know I take my 3D collect-a-thon seriously and have little patience for sloppy execution. If they keep up with me on Facebook or Twitter, they'll know I've been playing Spyro games like they're going out of style, including the Game Boy Advance ones. And that's where I had the idea, this is a collect-a-thon, but not a 3D collect-a-thon. Have I played other non-3D collect-a-thons? Are they any good? What can I take away from these games that I couldn't get from their 3D counterparts? Well, I'm Lens of Truth, and to answer these questions, we need to look at a few non-3D collect-a-thons. But first, we should get a good understanding of what I consider a collect-a-thon, because just collecting things isn't enough. No, a collect-a-thon, in addition to collectibles, needs some sort of freely explorable space. Some more traditional platformers are out, like the new Super Mario Bros. Games, the Red Ring Sonic games, and the console Klonoa games. They're merely platformers with collectibles in them. And they must have a tallied, once collected, always collected collectible. I may fudge on this one a bit. Like coins and star bits in Super Mario Galaxy aren't collectibles, but purple coins and power stars are. Oh, and if something needs to be collected to open a door, and you can't advance without finding all of that thing, then it's not really a collectible. It's a key, or part of a key, and doesn't really count. Like the flickies in Sonic 3D Blast. And one final thing before launching in. 3D collect-a-thons have the convenience of giving camera control to the player, so surveying the landscape is easy, and creating mental maps, while helpful, isn't absolutely necessary. Not so where we're going. In these non-3D collect-a-thons, we can't just stop, enter first-person view, and reorient ourselves. It may seem trivial now, but trust me, it's not, so keep it in mind. The first game is actually an isometric game from the Game Boy Advance, Spyro 2: Season of Flame. It plays similarly to its 3D counterparts. You explore worlds by charging, jumping, gliding, hovering, and breathing fire. You collect gems and trinkets, in this case fireflies, and help the locals. So this game very much translates the 3D gameplay into isometric. However, translating Spyro out of 3D couldn't have been easy, as seen in the previous entry, Season of Ice. Levels consisted largely of disjointed, plain islands, and it was way too easy to charge into walls. And the speedways were terrible! But there are a lot of improvements made for this second entry, Season of Flame. First and foremost, collecting gems has always been rewarding regardless of the Spyro game you're playing. It's still the case here. Playing as a dragon, collecting treasure is exactly what I'd expect to do, and having Sparks zoom over and pull gems back to you is brilliant and satisfying at the same time. Just watching Season of Flame, you might not notice, but while playing you'll instantly rejoice that walls and decorations are much less intrusive than in Season of Ice. So you can actually charge next to them without running into them. You'll also notice the camera attempting to pan in front of Spyro, which is a nice gesture, but tends to induce headaches. The real difference here is the way in which Spyro explores. Gone is the first-person view to check your surroundings. Instead, you can hold L and move the camera around. Its range is limited by keeping Spyro on screen, but it's still a lifesaver when navigating. And, new to Season of Flame, there's a map! All of these features combined make Season of Flame much more player-friendly than its predecessor. This game is the closest any of the handhelds get to replicating the Spyro formula, and at times feels just as awesome as its PS1 brethren, though I wish they hadn't chosen to have every level surrounded by bottomless pits. Though I suppose it's the same in its PlayStation brethren. However, the game has its flaws, outside the main gameplay. Sheila's stages take place on an isometric grid. This is fine, but the D-pad isn't oriented that way, so developers need to map each direction to an input, like up is northeast, right is southeast, etc. But nope, they forgot to do that, so sometimes you press up and go northeast, sometimes pressing up sends you northwest. How do you mess that up? And the Agent 9 side-scrolling stages are no fun. Way better than the Agent 9 stages in Attack of the Rhinox, but that's not saying much. I think the running gun feel is what they were thinking, but then it got bogged down in slow gameplay. And if you miss a gem near the beginning, you have to walk all the way back. The next game I want to look at comes from Klonoa's outings on handhelds. No, not that one. I'm talking about Klonoa Wonderswan no Jitsu, Klonoa Empire of Dreams, and Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournament. We'll take the latter. In each level, in addition to finding keys to open locked doors, you must collect 3 stars, or moonstones, to open the moon door and proceed to the next level. If you're paying attention, you'll realize that these stars aren't really collectibles. They're another type of key. No, the collectibles are these things. Dream stones. There are 30 in each puzzle stage, and collecting them all earns you a portion of a photo in the Dream Gallery. Much like Spyro's gems, you could collect very few of them and beat the game just fine, but for collect-a-thon enthusiasts, you've got your work cut out for you, especially considering that the Dream Stones reset after exiting a stage, a la Banjo-Kazooie's Notes. And then Dream Champ Tournament also has 1 Sunstone in each stage. These are needed to unlock EX stages. So with keys, Dream Stones, stars or moonstones, and Sunstones in Dream Champ Tournament, there's a lot to keep an eye out for. Luckily, the puzzle stages are open to be explored freely, just like a 3D Collect-a-thon. You platform and puzzle your way to find the Dream Stones and can comb every inch of the stage until you're satisfied. However, in Wonderswan no Jitsu and Empire of Dreams, the only way to scout out part of the room is to walk there. That's not so good, because some of these rooms can get quite roomy, meaning you have to store a lot of off-screen information in your noggin as you explore and attempt the puzzles. Have I checked for Dreamstones down there yet? I can't remember. I guess I'll go check. Thankfully, Dream Champ Tournament had the good grace to add the camera scrolling feature that Spyro got on handhelds. Klonoa's version is better though, because you can look at the entire room from any spot. This allows you to scope out the entire room before choosing a direction or starting in on a puzzle, and obviously locate all the collectibles. In an attempt at thoroughness, I should also mention the action stages. These are auto-scrolling levels that focus on platforming. They're fine on paper, but then they decided to stick 100 Dream Stones in these levels. Just imagine a new Super Mario Bros. Level that auto-scrolls with 100 star coins that need to be collected in one run, underwater, with rising lava. Yeah, kinda feels like that. The final game to look at is Fez. No, not Rez, Fez. It's a side-scroller too, but more Metroidvania-esque. So one room may connect to any number of rooms, and these rooms connect to more rooms, etc. And you're free to explore in any direction you desire, as long as you bring enough keys. But since it's a console PC game, screen crunch isn't an issue like it was in the previous games, meaning that the simple act of looking around is much easier. Oh, and the main mechanic is this: rotating the screen 90 degrees to get a new perspective. Whoa. You'll use this technique over and over again to create a string of platforms, to line up ladders, and solve puzzles. Fez is also unique from the other two in that it has no enemies, so the focus is on perspective shifting, platforming, and puzzle solving. Your main collectibles are cubes and cube bits. 8 make up a whole cube. During your journey, you'll also come across keys and cryptic hints mysterious anti-cubes, and other, even more mysterious objects. But with all these rooms and all this stuff to collect, how will players ever keep track of it all? My answer? The map. The map and collection checklist are actually rolled into one. The map, which does take a little getting used to, not only shows you each room, but what's in the room, like cubes, bits, treasure, locked doors, and even secrets. It also shows you if you completed the room, denoted by this gold border, and you can see the rooms it connects to, which aids navigation. And you don't have to worry about not knowing where to look in a room with unfound bits, because they pulsate golden light to help you locate them. The only place Fez falls short is that some of its puzzles require code breaking. For instance, each letter and number is assigned a new symbol, and to read you start at the top right corner and go down, then left to the next column. It takes a bit to get used to, and it helps to have the alphabet in front of you while playing. And some puzzles take an unprecedented amount of brute force decrypting, such that you may as well just look it up. But I must say, collecting in Fez is so satisfying that I love this game in spite of its bizarre fascination with cryptology. In summation, there are some important features to consider when translating collect-a-thons out of 3D. One of the first things to decide is whether you want self-contained levels, many interconnected rooms, or some other layout of your space. Then you should make sure the player has a collection screen of sorts, so they know for sure when they've found everything in a given area. A map to aid navigation makes a huge difference, even if it isn't the most detailed cartography ever made. And finally, adding some means of looking around to see what's over there, without having to trek all the way over there, is a good idea. And there you have it. 3 examples of collect-a-thons done in unique ways pretty effectively. Although I must admit, I think Fez feels the most like a traditional collect the shiny thing collect-a-thon. It also has a special place in my heart as it's the first modern PC game I ever played, and the first indie game I ever played. Anyway, thanks for watching. For more informative and hopefully interesting videos, you can click on the thumbnail for my Uncovering Game Design Mysteries playlist. I've got videos on Castlevania, Ghost Trick, and Rez, to name a few. If you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with a friend. And if you like talking video games, like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Talking about games is pretty much what I do there. Until next time.